Testing, testing, 1, 2. Hi, early birds. We'll start in 45 seconds. I just had to get on early so we can get on. All right, man. Good evening. It's 7 o'clock here in the northeast of the United States, and this is the Tibet Center. Our Tibetan name is Kunchab Tardu Ling, place pervaded by seekers of liberation. And this is our twice weekly presentation of the Buddha Dharma, specifically stages on the path to enlightenment, or the Lamrim Chenmo, if you will, by Tsong-kha-pa, J. Tsong-kha-pa. If there's any problem with the sound or picture, please let me know right away, or let Mr. Darren Smith know. If there's anyone for whom you wish us to pray for, I'll be praying for especially Isaiah Jones, who has passed away. When we say the Sutra of the Recollection of the Three Jewels, put their names in the chat box as soon as possible. Don't wait till the end. All the prayers we say are on the Tibet Center website in the FAQ section. Scroll down to prayers. What else? What other? We're under the direction of His Eminence Chabje Ling Rinpoche, and also under the direction of Rato Kenser Tupten Lunda, also known as Geshe Nicholas Vreeland. So that is our provenance or pedigree. The center was founded in 1975 by the late Rato Chungla Rinpoche, whose rebirth we anticipate, nervously anticipate. We can't wait. Anyway, we have a lot to do tonight, and we'll say hello to chapter 14 of the Lamrim. We could tag it with that. So tonight's lecture is basically chapter 14 of the Lamrim, with comments before that by His Holiness the Dalai Lama on the practical applications of what we're studying, the insight section. He'll show you what you look for when you're looking for inherent existence, especially the inherent existence of the I. So that's how we could tag this program. Introduction by His Holiness Dalai Lama, and also chapter 14 of Lamrim Chenmo, volume 3. All right? Prayer for the spreading of the teachings throughout the length and breadth of the West. By the force of the blessings of the non-fallacious three precious gems, and of the truth of our pure selfless wishes, may the precious Buddhist teachings flourish and spread to the expanse of all areas throughout the length and breadth of the West. For all the people living here, together with their near ones, who have engaged the teachings and have faith and respect for them, may all conditions adverse to their practice of the pure Dharma be dispelled, and an excellent collection of favorable conditions increase like the waxing moon. And especially for those who work on methods to accomplish the flourishing and spreading of the victorious one's teachings, which are the source of benefit and happiness, may they never be oppressed by masses of interference and adverse conditions, and may this spontaneously happen just as we have hoped and wished. The Heart Sutra. Thus have I heard once. The Blessed One was dwelling in the royal domain of the Vulture Peak Mountain, together with a big gathering of great monks and great bodhisattvas. At that time, the Blessed One entered the samadhi, which examines the dharmas, called profound illumination, and at the same time, noble Avalokiteshvara, the bodhisattva, Mahasattva, looking at the profound practice of transcendent knowledge, saw the five skandhas in their natural emptiness. Then, through the inspiration of the Buddha, Venerable Shariputra said to Avalokiteshvara, how should those noble ones learn who wish to follow the profound practice of transcendent knowledge? And Avalokiteshvara answered, Venerable Shariputra, whoever wishes to follow the profound practice of transcendent knowledge should look at it like this. Seeing the five skandhas in their natural emptiness. Form is empty. Emptiness itself is form. Emptiness is not separate from form. Form is not separate from emptiness. In the same way, feeling, discriminating, awareness, compositional factors, and consciousness are empty. Thus all the dharmas are empty and have no characteristics. They are unborn and unceasing. They are not impure or pure. They neither decrease nor increase. Therefore, since there is emptiness, there is no form, no feeling, no discriminating awareness, no compositional factors, no consciousness. no eye, no ear, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind, no appearance, no sound, no smell, no taste, no sensation, no objects of mind, no quality of sight, no quality of hearing, no quality of smelling, no quality of tasting, no quality of sensing, no quality of thought, no quality of mind consciousness. There are no nidanas of ignorance, old age, and death, nor their wearing out. There is no suffering, no cause of suffering, no ending of suffering, and no path, no wisdom, no attainment, no non-attainment. Therefore, since there is no attainment, the bodhisattvas abide by means of transcendent knowledge, and since there is no obscurity of mind, they have no fear. They transcend falsity and pass beyond the bounds of sorrow. All the Buddhas who dwell in the past, present, and future by means of transcendent knowledge fully and clearly awaken to unsurpassed, true, complete enlightenment. Therefore, the mantra of transcendent knowledge, the mantra of deep insight, the unsurpassed mantra, the unequaled mantra, the mantra which calms all suffering should be known as truth, for there is no deception. In transcendent knowledge, the mantra is proclaimed, Tayat Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasam Gate Bodhisoha. O Shariputra, this is how a bodhisattva mahasattva should learn profound transcendent knowledge. Then the Blessed One arose from that samadhi and praised the bodhisattva mahasattva Avalokiteshvara, saying, Good, good, O son of noble family, profound, transcendent knowledge should be practiced just as you have taught, and the Tathagatas will rejoice. When the Blessed One had said this, Shariputra and Avalokiteshvara, that whole gathering in the world, with its gods, humans, Asuras, and Gandharvas, their hearts full of joy, praise the words of the Blessed One. And now refuge and bodhisattva vow, which we recite 3 times, and at the 3rd recitation you think you're actually getting the vow. With the wish to free all beings, I shall always go for refuge to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha until I reach full enlightenment. Enthused by wisdom and compassion today in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind for full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. As long as space remains, as long as sentient beings remain, until then may I too remain and dispel the miseries of the world. With the wish to free all beings, I shall always go for refuge to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha until I reach full enlightenment. Enthused by wisdom and compassion today in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind for full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. As long as space remains, as long as sentient beings remain, until then may I too remain and dispel the miseries of the world. With the wish to free all beings, I shall always go for refuge to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha until I reach full enlightenment. Enthused by wisdom and compassion today in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind for full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. As long as space remains, as long as sentient beings remain, until then may I too remain and dispel the miseries of the world. May all the pains of living creatures ripen solely upon myself, and through the might of the Bodhisattva Sangha, may all beings experience happiness. May the teachings which are the sole medicine for suffering and the origin of every joy be materially supported and honored and abide for a very long time. I prostrate to Menja Gosha, through whose kindness wholesome minds ensue, and I prostrate to my spiritual masters, through whose kindness I develop. And now to create the cause for the swift return of Rato Chungla Rinpoche, His Holiness Dalai Lama composed this prayer, which we say whenever we meet, prayer for a swift return. It's on the website in the FAQ sections with everything else that's there and all the other prayers that we say. So, exalted wisdom of all victors gathered in a drop, soul refuge manifest in the form of the one wearing saffron robes, Guru Luzang Tubuang Dorje Chang, please bear witness here today that our prayers may be fulfilled. We beseech the great torch of doctrine, accomplishing from long ago the vast waves of aspirational prayers, Lord of speech of the victor Losang's teachings, spreading them to the ends of the earth by means of explanation and practice. Though holding the commitment, I will invite all beings to be my guest in unsurpassed great awakening, yet you have withdrawn the activities of the form body that serves the welfare of others. Is that worthy of the supreme among beings, the bodhisattvas? Though impossible for you till cyclic existence's end to abandon your commitment to liberate all beings, we beseech the new son of Nirmanakaya to swiftly return from the realm of Dharmakaya, brought forth by bodhicitta drawn by 7 steeds. Having reached the far limits of scholarship, religious life, and goodness, please come swiftly as an unrivaled supreme emanation, full holder of the sage's teachings and wish-fulfilling jewel, return as the glory of Losang Tenpe. Magnificent truth of the 3 precious jewels, Mahakala, Karma Yama, and Sri Mata Devi, and the ocean of Dharma protectors, may you spontaneously fulfill our wish the swift blossoming of the reincarnation's fresh moonlight face. So as advertised, I don't know, we advertise it on all the media, yes. I see, okay, we're getting out. That's a good thing. I like to see people's names here. What I was going to do tonight, there was a discussion at Tibet Center on what constitutes the emptiness of other, and I found a couple of passages. The best so far is from Jeffrey Hopkins' Meditation on Emptiness. But rather than go, that's kind of technical subject. If people want it, I'll do it Wednesday night. But otherwise, next time we gather for Goddess Tara practice, 2 weeks from the past Saturday, we'll discuss it. But Mark, if you want it, or Sham wants it, whatever, we'll discuss it briefly, because it's a technical topic and it can put people to sleep. Do not drive when listening to this. Anyway, as advertised, His Holiness Dalai Lama, from this wonderful book, translated wonderfully by Alex Berzin, The Gelug Kagyu Tradition of Mahamudra. What this is a presentation. There's an introduction by Alex, then a presentation on the auto commentary. The text itself was written by the first Panchen, Lama Losang Chuki Gyaltsen, or Chuchi Gyaltsen. I don't know how to pronounce it properly. I knew there was one of the Tibet Center women who had the name Chuki, and they called it Chuki. So Losang Chuki Gyaltsen, leave that alone. And then he wrote an auto commentary to his text, and His Holiness is giving a lecture on that auto commentary. This took place years ago. It was a live presentation. I forgot the dates. The dates are here. I don't want to waste time looking it up because we have a lot to cover tonight. And I don't want to bore everybody while I look for something. He makes a good comment before he says anything about peace in the world. He says there's no satisfactory alternative course in life than devoting ourselves to self-improvement based on teachings that are founded on reason. Leading our life along such a course benefits not only ourselves, but society as a whole. Everyone wishes for world peace and happiness. If everyone strives towards this goal, it is definitely achievable. It comes down to the individual, in other words. Therefore, it is worthwhile and reasonable to make effort in this direction. But without genuine mental peace internally, it is unrealistic to hope that we can achieve genuine world peace externally. This is completely clear. Thus, it is appropriate to devote ourselves to achieving inner peace, and for this there are the profound methods of Mahamudra. There's other methods too. This whole discussion is taking place in the context of a Mahamudra lecture, but it applies in general, the presentation of emptiness, etc. So this next is page 315 of this text. Searching for, the bottom of the third of the page says, searching for the, quote, me to be refuted. Okay, this, I'm always hearing, me, I, what's valid, what's not. He's going to give a presentation on that now, how we would actually look internally for this so-called me that has to be refuted while not getting rid of the legitimate one. And no dogma, no technical terms. Here it is. So he said, last night you were given the task to go home and look for the me to be refuted. All right. Have you found it or not? Is it something very impressive looking, or is it something pathetic looking? Most of us, when we're neither inspecting nor scrutinizing, possess a strong sense of me. Oof. But if, when all of a sudden we develop a strong feeling of me, we investigate and search for this me, we discover that it is very elusive. It seems to have disappeared. So when you get this extreme situation, he's saying, that's the time to spring out. Where is it? What is it? Someone insults you. Someone gives you a great big $1 million gift. Where's the me? So anyway, seems to have disappeared. When we search for something that we thought was there, most of us probably discovered it is not there at all. Some of us, on the other hand, might feel that this, quote, me is somewhere in our head, behind our eyes. This is because out of our 5 senses, our visual perceptions are the most powerful and compelling. Sometimes others who look at this me come up with a blank darkness. Wow. Page 316, he continues. But when we really investigate and scrutinize how things exist, we discover that they are simply what can be labeled by names or concepts. Consider the case of a person, quote, me. Like a snake that can be labeled onto a striped rope in the dark without actually being that rope, A person is simply what can be labeled onto aggregate factors of experience as its basis for labeling, but without actually being those aggregates. You label it as a snake, it wasn't, but it's the label that throws everybody off. The auto commentary of the first Panchen Lama cites a sutra to the effect that Buddha sees all wandering beings existing as who they are simply by virtue of their names. You have to think about this a little. They exist simply as the person to whom their names refer. And in fact, all beings actually abide in this manner in which Buddha omnisciently sees them. All phenomena lack any existence other than the one established simply in relation to names, a convenient nomination. Hard to get our heads around. That's very hard for me to understand. Take his word for it, and it's food for thought, mental experiments as you're walking around in the park or whatever. He continues, although the manner in which all phenomena exist is like this, the manner in which our mind gives rise to an appearance of them is just to the contrary. They do not appear to be merely something the existence and identity of which are established by the fact that they can be labeled to be what they are simply by conceptual thought or mental labeling. They appear as if they were establishing their true existence by themselves, by their own power, from their own side. Because our mind, due to its beginningless habit of being unaware of the actual manner in which everything exists, makes things appear in this manner, and, due to its continuing lack of awareness, apprehends them to exist as such. Our mind implies something about these appearances. It implies. That's an imputation. Mind implies something about these appearances. It implies actual objects existing from their own side that correspond to what it makes appear. Because of this implication, impulses of karma arise to deal with life on the basis of being deceived by our mind's discordant appearance making. Enacting these impulses, we cause ourselves to wander through uncontrollably recurring rebirths, experiencing the suffering that our unawareness creates. Last paragraph on 316, he goes on. The manner in which our mind produces an appearance of things as if existing in a fashion discordant with the way they actually exist is the manner of appearance making that is to be refuted or nullified and stopped. So that whole mechanism that we create, we have to realize it's a reflex habit pattern and get rid of it. It causes all the trouble. The way in which our mind implies true existence, then, is by implying that things are just as they appear. When they look like that, it's wrong. Come on, just as they appear. Okay, this is revolutionary. It implies this by believing that they truly exist in the manner in which it merely fabricates and projects an appearance of them as having. We put that's an imaginary thing. We think that's it's us giving it that value. It's there, it's separate from us. So that's about what he's saying. They're all saying the same things when they talk about meditating on the non-inherent existence of the I or the me. They say it in different manners. He continued, it believes them to exist in the manner in which it contrives. We're fooled. We're making it up. We're fantasizing. I don't know how we could put it. You think of your way of expressing it too, because I don't have the answer. He continues, last few lines on this page. Consider any appearance to which our mind gives rise, whether it be of mountains, fences, pastures, houses, or whatever. Although our mind gives rise to an appearance of this and that, it makes things appear as though, from their own side, through their own power, they were establishing their own existence and identity as this and that, ultimately findable as such in the place where our mind makes them appear to be. Okay, right? Thus, our mind does not simply give rise to an appearance of them. It makes mountains, fences, pastures, houses, and so on appear as though their existence goes far beyond being merely by virtue of the conventions of the mind that has them as its object. It makes them appear to exist as these things through their own power, independently of the conventions of the mind that cognizes them. This is the manner of appearance making that is to be refuted and stopped. Again, the same message. We're causing these appearances. We're giving them a value they don't have. Okay, Why don't they have it? Well, go find it. So that's the gist of their techniques for, He continues on the middle, third down on the page 317. In summary, the manner in which our mind implies the actual existence of what is to be refuted is with the attitude thinking that these objects of mind, such as mountains, fences, and so on, are actually those things over there, existing by virtue of their true and inherent identity as this or that, just as they appear to be existing there as such, from their own side, through their own power, not relying on anything other than themselves to establish their existence and identity. Such a mind that implies the actual existence of this impossible manner of existence that is to be refuted, then, is the mind that apprehends true and inherent existence. So that's how we create the idea of inherent existence. It's reflective. It's been going on for, eons, whatever, I don't know the timeline. A lot. It's easy to say. It's a lot. Long time. Middle of the page, 317. When we investigate and search for example, for a person, we're looking for the person, such as me, and try to discern a me establishing its own existence by itself in some manner beyond being merely what a mind can produce a conventional appearance of, we do not find such a me. This does not mean, however, there is no such thing as me. Now we're getting subtle. We throw out what idea of me we throw out, what idea of me we keep. Quote, me, who can bring about benefit or harm, definitely exists. A me, this can bring definite harm, bring about benefit or harm definitely exists. Okay, yes, we do this, that happens. Okay, that's legit. Despite the fact that we cannot ultimately find this me when we search for it, nevertheless, this thing in our thoughts that we do not find when we investigate and search for it is something that does arise when we do not inspect or scrutinize closely. We definitely find some me in our thoughts at that time. Yeah, I'm sick, I'm this. Okay? No matter how much we search, however, no phenomenon whatsoever remains as something that can be ultimately found when we search with a mind that is not satisfied with its being merely something that the mind can give rise to an appearance of. The next chapter of LAM is going to get into this. There is a great difference then between searching for a truly and inherently existent me, which is what we think is there, in or on its basis for labeling, with a mind that inspects and scrutinizes it on the deepest ultimate level, and searching for a mere me, with a mind that validly sees the conventional level. The former mind cannot find its object where the latter finds it. For instance, sitting in this room here and not there. I'm there, I'm this, I'm in New York, I'm not in Europe. So this is subtle, but it's very important because this gets us out of jail, samsara jail. Top of page 318, His Holiness continues. This being the case, we can decide for sure that when we search for something with logic and reason, the conclusion we arrive at is correct, that the thing we are searching for is something ultimately unfindable. Despite that fact, when our mind, in an impromptu manner, while not inspecting or scrutinizing closely, gives rise to appearance of this thing or that, it produces an appearance of it as if ultimately findable, truly and inherently existing under its own power. That's our reflex thing. Oh yeah, we don't think about it. He continues, when our mind gives rise to this type of discordant appearance of something, it makes it appear as though if we were to search for this or that object on its own side, there would be something findable there that would become increasingly clear and proportionately more firm. If it's there, the more we look, the more we'll find it. The closer we inspect and scrutinize, it should be there. This is the manner of existence with which our mind normally makes things appear and implies is real. This is to be refuted, so that through familiarity, we eventually rid ourselves of the habit of unawareness that causes our mind to fabricate, contrive, and make such nonsense appear. It's more than nonsense, it's deadly nonsense. Recognizing the mode of appearance making to be refuted we'll save that for next class, Wednesday night. What is today, 22nd? the 24th, I believe. But it's very important. This is exactly what the Lamrim is getting at when it starts to talk about the validity of conventional appearances and what's wrong with them and the methods for discovering this or that. Here we go, chapter 14. Reason why we're not finishing up chapter 13, because in order to do it properly, you have to have background in full knowledge of the middle way school, the Svatantrika school, and that's a topic maybe when we have a class in person, we could go through each school using texts that describe the tenets of each school. The three natures in the mind-only school, because it's a technical argument back and forth. We covered the high protein part anyway. So here, this chapter 14 is called Conventional Existence, and I'm in the third volume of the Lamrim. It's on page 177, the heading of the chapter. So this chapter, let me just check the time so we don't run out of time. Okay, we have enough time. Plenty. Good. We'll do some of this chapter and then go to Geshe Sopa's commentary. And this chapter of Geshe Sopa, he really makes it sing. He's on his game. I don't know. It really seems to work, at least for me. Maybe not. I don't know. Something about it resonates. Of course, I'm very prejudiced. I like everything he does. But anyway, excuse me. Pardon me. So, Conventional Existence, chapter 14, Lamrim 3. In this way, we Madhyamikas, that's us, hey, posit conventionally within our own system many presentations of cyclic existence and nirvana. We also refute the conventional existence of constructs that are put forward as unique assertions by essentialists. Okay, who are the essentialists? Every school below Prasangika Madhyamika to some extent. Why are they called essentialists? Because they believe when they look for something, it's that, pointing out reality. Oh, it's that. This is it. It gets more subtle what that is. But until you reach the Prasangika level, you still have some sort of essence of a thing that you can point to and say, that's the thing. As Nicky would say, that's the thing. Nicky's very good on this topic, by the way. So essentialist means those who hold some sort of inherent existence. Make it easy. As this is extremely difficult, accurate knowledge of the presentation of the two truths scarcely exists. He's saying in all of Buddhism, all these preceding schools, not accurate by our standards. Nothing wrong with those schools. They're good preps. You have to, I don't know if you have to go through them or not. I don't know who you are, what your background is, but it's presented that way as rungs of a ladder. Tsong-kha-pa continues, misunderstanding may arise as follows. When we refute the conventional existence of the constructs that the essentialists assert, he's calling them constructs. They're saying they're really there. He's saying, you constructed it. Essentialists assert, we must carry out the refutation using rational analysis. Ta-da, we've heard this all the time. We'll hear it again. Moreover, in taking their own stance on matters such as the existence of conventional production and cessation, reflective individuals will decide what to assert according to what can be proven, and proof is based on in a sequence of reasoning. What kind of people are these? These are reflective individuals, not knee-jerk. Oh yeah, it looks like that. That's what it is. Don't tell me. Reflective. So he starts right away dividing people, those who are thinking and those who are carefully examining, reasonably, with valid logic, and those who just, it's face value, that's it. So that's what's going on in this chapter. Taking this into consideration, some feel that under rational analysis, the proposed conventions of production, etc., and the imaginary constructs of essentialists have the same status as either contradicted or not contradicted by reason. What this is about now is the misappropriation of certain reasonings. You'll hear it, I won't elaborate. Thus, if they deny the conventional existence of constructs such as the divine creator or a primal essence is like Prakriti or Purusha Prakriti, the Samkhya school, then they must also deny the conventional existence of forms and such. If they hold that forms do exist conventionally, then they would also have to accept the existence of a divine creator. In other words, they're misappropriating, they're wiping everything out and using search for the ultimate nature of things on conventional things that can't bear that. And you don't use that kind of logic. You just accept conventional things as they appear to the world. That's it. Let's get on with it. If you're searching for something underneath, then it's a different story. We'll hear this again. They see these two as equivalents. They say that it is inappropriate for their own system to identify or assert any such phenomena. This is such and such, this is not such and such. They presume that in this way they have found a Madhyamaka reality. It's like a nihilism, if you look carefully. Further, in accordance with such understanding, they hold that stabilizing your mind, here we go again, without apprehending anything at all is cultivation of the genuine Madhyamaka view. Then if that's the case, you can go to sleep and you got the genuine, come on. There are a great many who assert this. We're on page 178, second big paragraph. It is evident that such talk does not please the learned. You don't want to unplease the learned. For, having failed to identify the object negated by reason, as explained above, those who say this use the arguments that refute intrinsic existence to destroy all presentation of conventionalities. That looking for inherent existence, you don't examine ordinary, everyday reality with. You accept it as the world accepts. As Holiness says, everything is fine, you don't look underneath. You start to look underneath for these, quote, essence of things, fine. You find they're not inherent existence. But, so be repeated endlessly, get used to it. He continues, consequently, theirs is a highly inaccurate position. It treats the correct view and the wrong view as the same in the degree to which they are mistaken or non-mistaken. As a result, prolonged habituation to such a view does not bring you the least bit closer to the correct view. In fact, it takes you farther away from it. For such a wrong view stands in stark contradiction to the path of dependent arising, the path in which all of the teachings on the dependent arising of cyclic existence and nirvana are tenable within our system. Therefore, Chandrakirti's commentary on the middle way says, and here's Chandrakirti's 4 lines, the self as it is imagined by the non-Buddhist philosophers who are disturbed by the sleep of ignorance and things that ascribe to mirages, magicians, illusions, and so forth, do not exist even for the world. Tsong-kha-pa will explain this. He says that what is imagined in the unique assertions of non-Buddhist philosophers, or according to the earliest citation, in the unique assertions of Buddhist essentialists, they're in the same camp from the Sangha point of view, does not exist even conventionally in our Madhyamaka system. I will explain this point. And he starts to explain now. In other words, not one. How does one determine whether something exists conventionally? We hold that something exists conventionally. So how do we posit conventional reality? 1, if it is known to a conventional consciousness. One consciousness, not looking for the ultimate essence of things. What is it? That's a horse, that's a cow, that's the fine. Conventional consciousness. 2, if no other conventional valid cognition contradicts its being as it is thus known. Oh, look, there's a mirage, water over there. No. Another ordinary consciousness. No, that's a mirage. It's the sun on the sand. That's okay. That's the idea of those 2 points. Now, the third one, if reason that accurately analyzes reality, that is, analyzing whether something intrinsically exists, the insight looking for inherent existence doesn't find, that, in other words, supramundane insight, does not contradict it. It shouldn't contradict it. That insight, that thing looking for the essence of thing, is only valid when you're looking for inherent existence. Doesn't validate conventional reality. Conventional reality is, as the world sees it, fine, that's it, leave it alone. So, we hold that what fails to meet these criteria do not exist. In a sense, he continues, the next paragraph, conventional consciousness operates in a non-inquisitive manner. Right. Who thinks, oh, there's this car coming at me right now, I gotta get out of the way. Does it exist inherently? No. There's time to use your logic and time to operate like the world operates. It operates only with, Tsong-kha-pa continues, it operates only within the context of how a given phenomena appears to it, without analyzing. Is this how the object actually exists, or does it just appear this way to my mind? No, this is not talking about that. It's just going about its business. There's George, there's Harry, I see the difference. That's all. It is called non-analytical consciousness. But it is not the case that it's utterly non-inquisitive. It operates with, he's saying it, all right, does have some analysis. So this is very good, this is a piece of crap. Fine, this food tastes good, this is not so good. It operates within the context of how things appear, how they are known to a worldly or conventional consciousness. It does not operate via analysis of how things actually exist. We never get through the day, right? Anyway, therefore, it is called mundane knowledge. This kind of consciousness occurs in all persons, whether or not they have become involved in philosophical tenet systems. Thus, no matter whose mind stream it occurs in, this is called, quote, mundane knowledge or non-analytical consciousness. I'm on the top of page 179. Do not suppose, Tsong-kha-pa continues, that it exists only in the mind streams of those worldly persons who are not involved in philosophical tenet systems. Those who are involved in such systems may often have minds that analyze, is this conventional knowledge accurate, or does this object exist this way in reality? Still, how could all of their consciousnesses analyze how things actually exist? No, these have to go about their business in the world too. You don't stop every minute. How does this exist? This car, is this conventional? No, let's get in the car and get on our way. Therefore, if you want to understand what worldly knowledge is, you cannot ask only those worldly elders who hold no philosophical tenets. However, it is sufficient to consider how non-analytical minds operate in the mind streams of the two parties in a debate. Big point here. What these consciousnesses know is the perceptual or experiential basis for the construction of conventional language. That's a big point, because when you sit in a debate with certain schools, you're assenting to their view of reality. That's why Tsong-kha-pa wouldn't debate the Svatantrika school or others, in general, everyone did, using their syllogisms, because their syllogisms, by accepting them, you're assenting to their view of what reality is. Subtle. I wouldn't see the difference, but they pointed it out. So they use consequences. They use syllogisms too when they're needed, but the middle page now of 179. Ordinary people do not understand karma and its effects, the levels and paths or such matters, but they hear about and experience them, thereby taking them as objects. And we're ordinary people. As this is so, they appear even to ordinary consciousnesses that are not analyzing how things actually exist. We thus avoid the fallacy that those would not be things that the world knows. Well, the world knows karma, this or that, if they've been told about it. Now, karma is even in the dictionary. How it's defined, I don't know, but they, who said that? Sanjay Kadra in one of the lectures. Oh, karma is now in the dictionary. I guess it's on the K. Tip. Anyway, we continue. Enough fooling around. Middle of 179. Other conventional valid cognitions do not contradict that which exists conventionally. For example, a consciousness that does not analyze how things actually exist may think that a rope is a snake or that a mirage is water. However, conventional valid cognition does contradict the objects apprehended by such consciousnesses, so those objects do not exist even conventionally. No, that's not water, that's a mirage. No, it's not a snake, that's a rope. Another ordinary mind says, look carefully. Come on, will you please? That's all. That's what he's saying here. A reasoning consciousness that accurately analyzes whether something intrinsically exists does not contradict that which exists conventionally. Take that statement to the bank. A reasoning consciousness that accurately analyzes whether something intrinsically exists does not contradict that which exists conventionally. It lets it alone. It's not, it goes, conventional appearance, fine. I'm not going to wipe that out. It's there. People operate on the basis, I need a glass of water, here it is, blah, blah. Fine. That kind of reasoning is looking for the mode of being, you might say, of an object, not just how it appears to us. Because slowly but surely we're realizing we're ignorant. Things that appear to us are not the way they really are. I hate to be told that, but it's the truth. At least logic says it is. I don't know. What is posited conventionally must be established by conventional valid cognition, the ordinary ways of the world. In addition, reasoning consciousnesses that accurately analyze whether it intrinsically exists definitely must not contradict it in any way. Whatever such reasoning establishes as existing must exist essentially, so it is contradictory for such to be a conventional object. You're looking for inherent existence and you find it, then it can't be conventional. It's inherently conventional. But this will be fleshed out, this point. Because of this, it is wrong to confuse one, not being contradicted by a reasoning consciousness, and being established by a reasoning consciousness. Not being contradicted by a reasoning consciousness and being established as a reasoning consciousness. This is heavy, but not that difficult. You gotta spend some time with it. Such confusion is the basis for the misconception that the following two propositions stand equally, either both true or both false. And here they come. 1. Pleasure and pain arise conventionally from virtue and non-virtue. Yeah. 2. Pleasure and pain arise from a divine creator and a primal essence. No. Tsong-kha-pa's comment. This misconception is incorrect. The two propositions are equivalent to the extent that a line of reasoning that accurately analyzes whether things intrinsically exist will establish neither, because there is no intrinsic existence. But the two are not alike in all respects. One is contradicted by reason, ordinary reason, and the other is not. That's all. He's trying to make the meaning a little easier. Let me see if we need Geshe Sopa yet. Yeah, we got 10 minutes. Let's go to Geshe Sopa now, because he's going to take the long road, the quiet long road, but it's really wonderful. Geshe Sopa's 5th LAM Rim volume took 5 volumes to comment on this. What does the dollar say? The dollar says, hello. Here's all those ideas now through his eyes. He's on his game in this chapter. At least I think so. But, I'm very prejudiced towards him, so shame on me. Page 193, volume 5, Geshe Sopa's Steps on the Path to Enlightenment. This book exists, conventionally, of course, in the Tibet Center. He keeps repeating one of his favorite mantras. To exist is to exist conventionally. So he starts, the Prasangika Madhyamikas do not deny that ordinary things conventionally exists. All right. When Chandrakirti says, whatever is false, even conventionally, is not a conventional truth. Right. That is not water. That's a mirage. That's all he's saying. Fine. He's referring to things understood by conventional knowledge to be false. An ordinary conventional knowledge is, an idiot, that's not water. Can't drink it. No? We can rephrase his statement as, whatever conventional knowledge knows to be false is not a conventional truth. Huh? Okay? So you can't call something a mirage a conventional truth or whatever. It's not. That water that's there is not a conventional truth. So, or you think is there. This does not mean that ordinary things are conventionally false. Careful here, conventionally false. It means that specific things accepted by the realists are conventionally false. The Prasangika, remember the realists are those below the Prasangika school in non-Buddhists. The Prasangikas refute those things and prove that they do not exist even conventionally. After that, they establish ordinary things to exist conventionally in a way that is harmonious with worldly understanding. This is how the Madhyamikas present samsara and nirvana in a conventional sense and negate, even conventionally, things imputed by the realists. Imputed, they think it's there, but it ain't. It's not with proper grammar. Which includes non-Buddhist philosophical systems as well as Vaibhashika, Sotantrika, and Yogacara. He didn't say Svatantrika because they're half right. This manner of establishment and negation is so difficult to comprehend that it is very rare to find someone with a correct understanding of the presentation of the two truths. But we have to work on it so that we understand it. The stakes are extremely high. Freedom forever from all pain and suffering, or the continually being on the pile of cyclic existence. No. Next paragraph. Misunderstanding can easily arise regarding the fact that valid reasoning must be used in refuting the realists and improving the Madhyamika position. Intelligent people here accept or reject things based on whether they have proof, which involves a sequence of logical reasons. Smart people operate that way, and we should too. If they have a correct proof, they accept them. Without a correct proof, they don't accept them. Many so-called Madhyamikas think that the things established by the Madhyamikas as conventionally existent and things posited by the realists are equally affected by logical analysis. In other words, if one is negated by reason, then both are equally rejected. And if one is not negated by reason, then both are equally unharmed. It's a little stiff there, hard to think that. They think that if we say that a divine creator, a primal essence, and so on do not exist conventionally, then we must also say that forms and so forth and so on do not exist. And if we say that forms and so on exist conventionally, then we must also say that a divine creator, a primal essence, and so on exists. That's their point of view, and it's totally wrong. We can be specific. This is no good. Now, they mistakenly think that in the Madhyamaka system, it is unsuitable for anything to be identified or accepted as this is so and that is not so. In short, they consider the middle way to mean not accepting or rejecting anything. What? Not accepting or rejecting. They say we should literally accept Nagarjuna's statement, I do not have any thesis because I do not accept anything. That has to be interpreted, that statement, but we'll leave that for another game, another day. 194, the second paragraph. Even some genuine followers of Nagarjuna say that the highest Madhyamaka view is to accept nothing, because Buddha remained silent and did not say anything one way or the other when he was questioned on certain points. These people are lazy. I'll give you a hint. They don't want to be bothered studying. They think they simply have to shut up. I am joking, but those following this interpretation of Nagarjuna believe that to cultivate the correct view, we should meditate without holding anything in mind. We've heard this a lot. To practice the path, we purify the mind of all thoughts. This is their point. All thoughts, whatever comes to mind is like a cloud to be cleared away. Many people appreciate this approach. Why? Because it is easy and temporarily keeps one free of attachment and hatred. The alternative is to struggle to understand many difficult points and to deal with apparent contradictions. Yeah, we have to. If meditation practice is simply to abide without thought, then we do not have to grapple with complex ideas. Yeah, it's an easy way out, but it isn't an easy way out. It gets you in the worse hole. Now, when you hear this, oh, you got this concept and that, don't forget, it's a graduated path. You should start working on the mind to make it more and more calmer, so it can go through these proofs without freaking out. You can take its time. Shamatha is always presented, or calm abiding, before insight, the fifth paramita, before the sixth paramita, the fifth concentration, before insight, prajna paramita. That's why. Of course, now, oh my God, I can't understand. We have to develop gradually. In the meantime, we may not understand these things, but it's good to get the mind imprinted with them. So in the next life, future life, or maybe a few years down the road, it'll be more vivid when we read it a second and third time. You could check this out yourself. Read something, come back to it a month later, read it again. Oh, it's like I never read it. I get more meaning. Read it a month after that. Still more meaning. That's the way these texts work. They're reading you. So, 194, this third paragraph. This interpretation of the middle way is not correct. Nagarjuna's point is that nothing can be accepted when based on the assumption that things have an inherent nature or exist by their own nature. That's what he's saying. He is not saying that nothing can be accepted at all. Tsong-kha-pa sees this no-thought approach as a very powerful wrong view. He makes strong statements about it in various places in the LAM Chenmo. Here he says that it is apparent that this position does not satisfy the wise. It is utterly unsatisfactory because it does not correctly identify the object to be negated by ultimate analysis, namely inherent existence. Doesn't identify it, and that's the cause of all our trouble. So you're just sidestepping that. You're not getting out of samsara or any other suffering. Those who identify the object of negation too broadly destroy the establishment of all conventional things. That same theme, that's why it's kind of subtle. And it demands a calmer mind, a different approach than reading ordinary things. Well, we get this all the time. Well, one more paragraph before we have to close the book for tonight. It is a great mistake to equate a correct view and a wrong view, such that if one is mistaken, then both are equally mistaken. And if one is unmistaken, then both are equally unmistaken. Broad brush now. Even if you were to meditate without thought for a long time, you would not get the slightest bit closer to the correct understanding of the ultimate truth. You want to try it? Go ahead. Don't be foolish. Come on. No thought for a while is like a mental bath. It's very nice, like going to sleep. It doesn't project you forward, move you forward. It's a tool. You can meditate, watching the breath half hour, something you feel refreshing, set about reading or whatever. Anyway, I'm not a teacher. Don't take my advice. But when good teachers come, take their advice. If ordained people say something under the power of their vows, it'll ring true. So not only will it not bring you closer to any closer to the right view, but it will take you farther away. He's a little more harsh than Tsong-kha-pa even. Why? The reasons is that this approach grossly contradicts all Madhyamaka teachings concerning the dependent phenomena of samsara and nirvana. The 12 links of dependent arising function as causes and effects. Their arising constitutes samsara, and their cessation constitutes nirvana. I skipped the parentheses here because it takes too long. So if you think that cultivating the mere absence of thought leads to nirvana, then you are denying this causal relationship, and you cannot deny cause and effect. It's not something Buddha invented. It's something he discovered. It's there. We're under its hegemony now. We're in its system now. Cause and effect. The law, the ultimate law. Tsong-kha-pa says he will explain the apparent contradiction that all phenomena, whether pure or impure, exist conventionally. That's my cat sounding out. What? No, that's a wrong assertion. I told him off, or her off. Now, Tsong-kha-pa says he will explain the apparent contradiction that all phenomena, whether pure or impure, exist conventionally, but do not exist ultimately. Many people think that if something exists, it must exist inherently or ultimately. In other words, it must be findable when sought by ultimate analysis. Some people try to follow the Madhyamaka view, but because they do not understand its subtlety, they see both correct and incorrect positions to be equally valid. Let me check the time. I got to stop. We'll end on Chandrakirti's quote. To remedy this dangerous mistake, Tsong-kha-pa begins by quoting Chandrakirti's introduction to the middle way, the Madhyamaka-vatara. The self as it is constructed by the Tritikas, the non-Buddhist schools, who are controlled by the sleep of ignorance, and anything else contrived, such as mirages and magical illusions, do not exist even from the worldly point of view. So we'll leave it at that, and we will continue in this vein, in this key, whatever you want to call it, on Wednesday night. For whom are we praying? I'm praying, of course, for Isaiah Jones, a young fellow, friend of Carol and her sons, who had passed away at a young age, tragically. Praying for him. We hope he's reborn very well. Here's my prayers. I am so discombobulated. Age has struck with a vengeance. Sutra of the Recollection of the Noble Three Jewels. I prostrate to the Omniscient One. Thus the Buddha, Bhagavata, Tathagata, Arahat, Samyak Sang Buddha, the learned and virtuous one, the Sugata, the knower of the world, the charioteer and tamer of beings, the unsurpassable one, the teacher of devas and humans is the Buddha Bhagavat. The Tathagata is in accord with all merit, does not waste the roots of virtue. He is completely ornamented with all patience. He is the basis of the treasures of merit. He is adorned with the minor marks. He blossoms with the flowers of the major marks. His activity is timely and appropriate. Seeing him, he is without disharmony. He brings true joy to those along with faith. His knowledge cannot be overpowered. His strengths cannot be challenged. He is the teacher of all sentient beings. He is the father of bodhisattvas. He is the king of noble ones. He is the guide of those who journey to the city of nirvana. He possesses immeasurable wisdom. He possesses inconceivable confidence. His speech is completely pure. His melody is pleasing. One never has enough of seeing him. His form is incomparable. He's not stained by the realm of desire. He's not stained by the realm of form. He's not affected by the formless realm. He is completely liberated from suffering. He is completely and utterly liberated from the skandhas. He is not possessed with dhatus. His ayatanas are controlled. He has completely cut the knots. He's completely liberated from extreme torment. He is liberated from craving. He has crossed over the river. He is perfected in all the wisdoms. He abides in the wisdom of the Buddha Bhagavats, who arise in the past, present, and future, does not abide in nirvana. He abides in the ultimate perfection. He dwells on the bhumi where he sees all sentient beings. All these are the perfect virtues of the greatness of the Buddha Bhagavat. The Holy Dharma is good at the beginning, good in the middle, and good at the end. Its meaning is excellent. Its words are excellent. It is uncorrupted. It is completely perfect and completely pure. It completely purifies. The Bhagavat teaches the Dharma well. It brings complete vision. It is free from sickness. It is always timely. It directs one further. Seeing it fulfills one's purpose. It brings discriminating insight for the wise. The Dharma, which is taught by the Bhagavat, is revealed properly in the Vinaya. It is renunciation. It causes one to arrive at perfect enlightenment. It is without contradiction. It is pithy. It is trustworthy and puts an end to the journey. As for the Sangha of the great Yano, they enter completely, they enter insightfully, they enter straightforwardly, they enter harmoniously. They are worthy of veneration with joined palms. They are worthy of receiving prostration. They are a field of glorious merit. They are completely capable of receiving all gifts. They are an object of generosity. They are a great object of complete generosity. The protector who possesses great kindness, the omniscient teacher, the basis of oceans of merit and virtue, I prostrate to the Tathagata. Pure, the cause of freedom from passion, virtuous, liberating from the lower realms. This alone is the supreme ultimate truth. I prostrate to the Dharma, which is peace. Having been liberated, they show the path to liberation. They are fully dedicated to the disciplines. They are a holy field of merit and possess virtue. I prostrate to the Sangha. I prostrate to the Buddha, the leader. I prostrate to the Dharma, the protector. I prostrate to the Sangha, the community. I prostrate respectfully and always to these three. The Buddha's virtues are inconceivable. The Dharma's virtues are inconceivable. The Sangha's virtues are inconceivable. Having faith in these inconceivables, therefore the fruitions are inconceivable. May they be born in a completely pure realm. And now, prayer for the flourishing of Tsong-kha-pa's teaching, recommended by His Holiness as another cause for the swift return of Rato Chungla Rinpoche on our website. Though he's the father, producer of all conquerors, as a conqueror's son, he produced the thought of upholding the conqueror's dharma in infinite worlds. Through this truth, may the conqueror Losang's teachings flourish. When of yore in the presence of Buddha Indraketu, he made his vow, the conqueror and his offspring praised his powerful courage. Through this truth, may the conqueror Losang's teachings flourish. That the lineage of pure view and conduct might spread, he offered a white crystal rosary to the sage who gave him a conch and prophesied. Through this truth, may the conqueror Losang's teachings flourish. His pure view free of eternity or destruction, his pure meditation cleansed of dark fading and fog, his pure conduct practiced according to the conqueror's orders. May the conqueror Losang's teachings flourish. Learned, since he extensively sought out learning, reverent, rightly applying it to himself. Good, dedicating all for beings and the doctrine. May the conqueror Losang's teachings flourish. Through being sure that all scriptures, definitive and interpretive, were without contradiction, advice for one person's practice, he stopped all misconduct. May the conqueror Losang's teachings flourish. Listening to explanations of the three Pitakas, realized teachings, practice of the three trainings, his skilled and accomplished life story is amazing. May the conqueror Losang's teachings flourish. Outwardly calmed and subdued by the hearer's conduct, inwardly trusting in the two stages practice, he allied without clash the good paths of Sutra and Tantra. May the conqueror Losang's teachings flourish. Combining voidness explained as a causal vehicle with great bliss achieved by method, the effect vehicle. Heart essence of 80,000 Dharma bundles, may the conqueror Losang's teachings flourish. By the power of the ocean of oath-bound doctrine protectors like the main guardians of the three beings' paths, the quick-acting Lord Vaishravana Karmayama, may the conqueror Losang's teachings flourish. In short, by the lasting of glorious gurus' lives, by the earth being full of good learned reverend holders of the teaching, and by the increase of power of its patrons, may the conqueror Losang's teachings flourish. And now we have 8 verses on training the mind. Oops. Okay. With the determination to accomplish the highest welfare of all sentient beings who surpass even a wish-granting jewel, I will learn to hold them supremely dear. Whenever I associate with others, I will learn to think of myself as the lowest amongst all, and respectfully hold others to be supreme from the very depths of my heart. In all actions, I will learn to search into my mind, and as soon as a disturbing emotion arises, endangering myself and others, I will firmly face and avert it. I will learn to cherish ill-natured beings, and those oppressed by strong misdeeds and sufferings, as if I found a precious treasure difficult to find. When others out of jealousy treat me badly with abuse, slander, and so on, I will learn to take all loss and offer the victory to them. When the one whom I have benefited with great hope unreasonably hurts me very badly, I will learn to view that person as an excellent spiritual guide. In short, I will learn to offer to everyone without exception all help and happiness directly and indirectly, and respectfully take upon myself all harm and suffering of my mothers. I will learn to keep all these practices undefiled by the stains of the 8 worldly concerns, and by understanding all phenomena as like illusion, be released from the bondage of attachment. So our next class is Wednesday night, and I forgot what date that was. It can't be the 24th, is it? No. Whatever it is, Wednesday night at 7 o'clock, the Dharma class will continue with the 14th chapter of the LAM Chenmo. Is she on tonight? Let me see. I wish happy birthday to Aradhana. Yes, happy birthday, Aradhana. May you live long and always be in contact with the Dharma. Also, dear Carol and Rudy, may your troubles, sorrows soon pass. And we will pray for Isaiah for 49 days. I will anyway. Anyway, big love to all of you. Thank you for your kind, patient listening. This is a difficult one. Big love.